to me, martial arts is the way of life. I don't see no other way. From the physicality, the spirituality of it, the confidence, the warrior type spirit, the whole nine. I love it. I do. But my journey, besides the movies, it started with my pops. He was into it way before me. He used to fight a lot. He went to court. This guy named Mr. Huff in the stance, well, he was in attendance. He asked the judge, he was like, hey, what is he in trouble for? And the judge said, this kid is in trouble for fighting all the time. And Mr. Huff said, that's it. Let me take him on. I got him. So he ended up being my father's guardian. And it's kind of like Mr. Miyagi and Caruso in Karate Kid, or Mike Tyson and Customados, like their kind of relationship. And he had my dad clean the dojo and clean the toilets. And he trained my dad as well. And my dad started getting really good. Because Mr. Huff, he was a big, tall guy. He was a big, solid man. He wasn't muscular, but he was like really solid. But very quick, very dangerous, for sure. So anyway, my dad did judo as well. And he did gymnastics. So that made him a very unique type of fighter. He was really quick and very strong. And he didn't use his hands for the most part. He used his feet. Even in street fights, he'll use his feet. He'll kick the shit out of somebody. For real, he did. But yeah, so he used to compete. And then he saw Bruce Lee in Atlanta at this event right before he died. Well, right before Bruce Lee died. And he told me how they had these boards up in the air, and Bruce Lee did this crazy spin kick up in the air and broke all the boards. And then maybe say not so long, maybe like a few months, whatever, Bruce Lee passed. And he was just devastated. He told me, he's like, man, that destroyed me when he died. You know, because I like Bruce Lee too. I love Bruce. I think Bruce Lee's amazing. But yeah, my father loved Bruce Lee. My father used to paint these portraits. He had a portrait of Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon when he got sliced across the chest by that guy with that hand, when he switched his hand to their claws, whatever. Yeah, he had did a painting of that, and his crackhead stole it back in the day. And I say about a year or two before my pops died, he brought it up. And I'm like, you still mad about that? So this event happened, another event happened where he was fighting, and he met Chuck Norris. And Chuck Norris wanted to get my dad to come to California with him. So he tried to get his mother to sign the papers, but she would never sign off, no matter how much he begged and pleaded. So he got really upset. And of course, he had another fight after that situation at a competition. He slipped on some sweat on the mat, and his knee had bust open. He had to get, he had to get surgery for it. So at that time, it was pretty much a career-ending type injury, and he was just like salty about it. Even before he died, I'll say about a year or two before that, he brought it up as well. He talked about that. He was still pretty bummed out about it because he felt like he could have flourished and did, some amazing things, which possibly he could, because he was very talented. Anybody that know my dad that fought with my dad or trained with him, even know him on the street level, they know how he was. He was a beast. He was no joke at all. And therefore, when I came around, I got involved with it as well. But I was doing like the boxing and Muay Thai kickboxing. I did a little capoeira. I did some jiu-jitsu. Did things like that. I enjoyed it. Absolutely, I enjoyed it. And I had potential as well. The biggest thing for me, I had like this self-doubt thing, like this self-confidence. Even though I was very confident and I knew my abilities, and people that sparred me, they knew my abilities and how quick I really am and how strong I really am, I still had this self-doubt about myself. And that's something I had to work on for a long time. And it's one of those things, no matter how talented you are, if you have self-doubt, talent don't mean nothing at that point. And I realized that. And then plus, I never could decide what I want to do. If I want to be a musician or whatever, I want to do all these things at one time. And I realized there was no way I can do all that at one time as I got older. But when I was younger, I feel like I could do everything. I feel like the world's in my hand. I did. I felt like it was. And I should have just stuck with one thing, got myself in the game, and then branch off and do other things. But I met a lot of cool people. I met people in the UFC, professional boxing, and different industries, music industries. And I value all those rapports I have. I do. I value those to this day. Absolutely, I do. But right now, I'm trying to redeem myself. I am going forward. And I'm determined to make something of myself. I'm determined. Even though I'm getting older, I am determined to break through somehow, some way. Can't give up, but I must say, one reason I got into fitness when I was much younger was for the wrong reason, for females, right? Just to, I thought, well, maybe if I had more muscle, maybe some women will like me more. Then I realized that don't mean shit either. It's all about what's in your heart and your mind and how you carry yourself. And it took me time to realize that, but at that time when I was younger, I didn't realize that. You know what I'm saying? So